going? Okay, so Bucky and I this morning on our first, I would say, official chilly Florida morning are going to do a little bit of jumping. So we wanted to show you how to fit Bucky's jumping bridle, which is a Hackabit combination with the bomber blue mouthpiece. I have double reins with him because he's quite different from day to day. Like some days it's a little too much bit, and other days it's not quite enough. So I find like with the one, if I had one rein or when I was using one rein, I just didn't have enough flexibility in that aspect. So with the double rein, I can control a lot better, like how much leverage I have on the bit. I know it's coming. Okay, so I like to hold my bridle kind of like this, because it's just an easy way to be in control of the bridle and get it on and not get all tangled up in it. Should have separated the cheek pieces first. Tend to stick together sometimes. Okay, Bucky, now I'm ready for you. Okay. Yeah, I know. There you go. Okay. So I'll have to pick another horse if I want to do a bridle demo on how to get a bit in the mouth if they're not willing. Okay, so I've got my Benefab pole pad on here. We'll start from the top here. The brow band, you always want to make sure it nestles kind of just above the bone here, underneath the ear. There's like a nice little pocket, so it's not putting pressure on anything. You don't want it to be too tight. So this kind of is sitting nice and loosely. It's not going to give him a headache or put pressure on anything. Okay, then the throat lash. Those of you that have watched some of our other bridal videos will be familiar with this. You want to have it on, like not too loose that it's kind of dangling around down here, but what I see more often than not is it actually being too tight. And then when you're asking a horse to kind of come on the bit and work over their back, it can actually put pressure on their trachea over here, which is not very pleasant. Like we're asking them to work and then you're kind of, So just make sure. I was taught to do a fist upright like this. If you've got small hands, you can use your thumb a little bit to create a little bit more space and just put it under here. This is almost a little bit loose, like so it could go up one more. There we go. And my fist fits nicely in there. So I know when he puts his head down, it's not going to sit in funny places. So with the Hackabit with Bucky, the way I like to have it fit is you always got to make sure this is a bit that's got a combination of pressure points. It's got the nose pressure. So when we pull at the bottom here, it's going to bring a little bit of pressure on the nose. I have that for Bucky because he likes to carry his head very high, especially in stressful situations. The tail comes up and the head comes up, and I'm kind of sitting in a bit of a banana. So this just helps me keep his head down a little bit, more focused on the jump. But that also means, like, if you feel along your horse's nose here, it's very soft here. And if you've ever seen a horse's skeleton, if you haven't, Google it. This, what do I call it, nasal crest? I could be wrong. But this little piece that comes down here is a very, very, very thin bone. And you can actually break it with too much pressure. So we want to make sure that this nose part is sitting. You can feel where the nasal notch, I should know this, I literally did my anatomy last night, here where you can feel the bone in the skull like kind of start. You want it to be above there. So I don't know how that translates on the camera, but the soft part, stay above that. Okay. As far as the bit, geldings make it a little bit easier. You kind of want to be, I would say like an inch behind the tooth, the canine tooth over here. In the mares, generally we go for the 2 wrinkle rule here, but just play it by ear with your horse. Like you don't want to have them have it like a smiley face. Specifically with a leverage bit like this, you don't want it to be too low. So when it's sitting comfortably in the mouth, you want the bit, would you mind, could you stop chewing for a sec? You want the bit to nestle at the bottom of your lever here. If you have it, if it's like this, you really have no lever action when you pull on the rein. So it's got to be snug, resting in the bottom here so that when you do pull, it's actually going to have the desired effect. Okay, so the next we've got the, I guess it's a little bit higher to be called a chin strap, but this is going to go along the back. And then with him, I usually start off on the 8th hole, 2, 4, 6, 8. If he's being a little bit strong like he was the other day, I'll make it a little bit tighter. We'll see what he's like today. And then, again, it's kind of like, a little bit like, it's making it difficult because he's chewing, but around about two finger-ish back here. You don't want it too loose because there's no effect otherwise when you pull here. So if you see, like, as you pull the bottom here, this goes forward, so it's going to put pressure on the chin, pulls the nose down, and it's going to have a little bit of pull pressure as well. So it's kind of bringing your horse's head a little bit like that. It is quite a strong bit, and it's one that I would only recommend for educated hands. Like, don't make it your go-to jumping bit. And it's really one that we've moved to going through a lot of other different bits. And if you can, you obviously always want to try and ride your horse in as soft a bit as possible. But Bucky's really, we found it, this is the one he likes to go in comfortably. And it's got a couple of options. What I like about the Bomber one is there are days that he's not as strong. And I actually move my bottom rein to this little thingy over here, and it's got it's a less severe leverage action, which is quite nice. But like I said, the other day he was a little bit fresh, so we had to move his rein down to the bottom here. So that's kind of how I would fit his jumping bridle and a Hackabit. And then, the Martingale, if you're using double reins, I prefer to have it on the snaffle portion, on the middle bit over here. So that's gonna, when he lifts his head, it's gonna put pressure on here, not on the leverage bit, if that makes sense. Cool, if you guys have any questions, let us know, and happy riding.